Hey, good morning everyone. Man, yesterday was interesting, to say the least, and the tank teams laid out all the traps, including the Thunder and Blazers. But it is that time of the year, so I'm not surprised. The Thunder tried tanking by starting their newly acquired players, and they still ended up winning because those players tried too hard at the end. And it didn't help that Jalen Horde went off for 60 plus fantasy points. I'm curious to see what they do with the lineup today in order to try avoid winning again. And rest in peace, Lakers. They finished with 48 losses, which is the most by any LeBron team, and they are the first team ever to start the season as finals favorites and then end up not making the playoffs. It was a good run, but it was still a solid night for us as our core Nets first half props came through big time, and Jalen Green kept his record chase alive by reaching 30 points last night. I'm excited to see if he can break Allen Iverson's record for most consecutive 30-point games as a rookie. Sengun continues to shine and he crushed his props. Kyrie cleared both his free throw and 3-point props, which were also core plays. Our other core first half props came through with Embiid and Tobias going off in the first half, but the biggest disappointment by far of the night was Van Vliet's fantasy point prop, which was a key target of ours. He ended up having one of his worst shooting nights of the season by going 2 of 12 from 3 and 4 of 21 from the field. There's just nothing you could do about that. We just got unlucky targeting him on one of his off shooting nights. But he did get it done with his passing and ended up clearing his assist prop, which is something else we targeted. We also targeted Trae Young's assist prop on the other side, and he crushed that with 15 assists. We have a much smaller 6-game slate today, and at first glance, the waters appear very murky for this one, with most of the matchups having tank teams involved. But I will outline our core targets at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around. We're going to have to dig deep today. So, let's get hunting. The Mavs at Pistons has a 10-point spread and a 222 implied total. The Mavs are still chasing the Warriors for the number 3 seed and have to win out, so there is some incentive to keep the foot on the pedal today. And we have a double narrative in this matchup. It's Dinwiddie's birthday, and it's a revenge game for him going against his former team that originally drafted him and then gave up on him and traded him away. So we can ride this narrative and target his point prop, especially if it's around his usual 13 to 14 line. We can also consider his first half fantasy point prop if we think this one blows out early. He will get around 6 minutes of run with Luka on the bench in the second quarter, so something to consider. Luka is on a serious heater, so his point prop is always live, but we could target some smaller lines to sweat, like his 3-point or free throw props. The Pistons allow the most free throw attempts, and Luka is a foul magnet, as we know. Dwight Powell is playing much better since All-Star break, and he has a great matchup today against one of the worst rebounding teams. Also, Maxey is out, which helps secure his minutes and production. The Nets at Knicks has an 8-point spread and a 233 implied total. The Nets are on a back-to-back after the Rockets gave them a run, so the Knicks could keep this one close, and the smaller spread suggests that too. It's always a blow-up spot at MSG for guys like Kyrie and KD, so I like going right back to Kyrie's 3-point prop, especially if Seth Curry is out again. Bruce Brown and Drummond could fill the stat line in this matchup, so I like their fantasy point props as well. And KD can get hot at any moment, so his point prop is always in play. For the Knicks, RJ Barrett will have to put up points to keep this close, and he should dominate the shot volume, so I like his point prop. Mitchell Robinson has been thriving with Randall out, and he always has that block upside, so we could look to his fantasy point prop. And Quickly is coming off a triple dub game, and he could go off again in this matchup, but since he is a bench guy, we will have to see if we get any of his props today, but I would be interested. The Wizards at Hawks has a 9-point spread with a 228 implied total. Both of these teams are on a back-to-back, and we just saw the Wizards upset the T-Wolves. There is always concern about Porzingis on a back-to-back, but he has been playing through these lately. If he does get his normal run, then his point prop is live. Denny has been filling the stat line, so he could target his PRA in this favorable matchup. And KCP is also in a great spot against this weak Hawks backcourt defense, so he could target his point prop. This is a prime spot for Trae at home, and his assist prop is always live. We could also target his fantasy point prop to gain access to all his potential in this matchup. And Clint Capella's first half fantasy point prop continues to clear and come through for us, so we could consider that again today, but we could also go with his rebound prop too. The Celtics at Bulls has an 8-point spread with a 225 implied total. After losing to the Bucks last night, the Bulls are now 0-4 against the Bucks, 76ers, and Heat this season. They've been swept by all three, but they still ended up clinching a playoff spot, and DeRozan said he wants to finish this season strong. LaVine sat out last night, so maybe he returns today, but if he doesn't, then we can target DeRozan again for his point and assist props. But this is not an ideal matchup against one of the best defenses in the league. If the Celtics win out, they will secure the 2 seed and home court advantage, so the motivation is there. Jalen Brown is on a heater recently, and it's always hard predicting who will pop off between him and Tatum, and their props are definitely inflated today, so it's hard choosing between the two. But I could maybe get on Marcus Smart's assist prop since he still carries the highest assist rate on the squad. Also, Al Horford's fantasy score is in play since bigs can thrive against Vooch. The Jazz at Thunder has an 18-point spread with a 225 implied total. Like I mentioned earlier, the Thunder are in full tank mode, so they are impossible to predict, especially on a back-to-back. But maybe we could consider Jalen Horde fantasy or rebound props if he draws a start. He's been crushing the glass. The Jazz are coming off an overtime win last night, and they don't have much seeding incentive today, so maybe they rest starters like Mitchell and Gobert. If they rest Gobert, then Whiteside will be a top prop. He should feast on the glass and rack up blocks. I really hope Gobert sits today so we can load up on Whiteside, but there are a lot of unknowns for this game, and we will just have to wait on starting lineups before making any key decisions. The Suns at Clippers has a 3-point spread with a 229 implied total. The Suns are on a back-to-back and already have the number 1 seed locked up, so maybe they rest starters like Booker and Ayton like they did recently. I assume they keep letting Chris Paul get more run for conditioning, and he's returning to LA, so that revenge motivation is always there. His assist prop is always live even at 10, and I would target Booker's point and Ayton's rebound props if they end up actually playing. Paul George has been dishing it out and chucking it from 3, so I like his assists and 3-point props. So let's recap our favorite targets. First, Dinwiddie's points. Second, Whiteside fantasy point if Gobert sits. Third, Luka's 3-point or free throws. Fourth, Kyrie's 3 points. Fifth, Trae Young's assist. And lastly, Chris Paul's assist. This slate is far from ideal, and we'll have to get really uncomfortable with some of our clicks, but it's the final week of the season, so now's the time to be risky. Please comment below and let us know what you think of this slate, and please hit that like button. It really helps, and we always appreciate it. Also subscribe if you're not part of the Run DFS team yet. We'll get through this together, and we will break this slate down further in our live stream starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, so definitely come join us on this prop mining adventure. And as always, best of luck everyone. I hope you crush it. Take care.